My one to presentation is on coral. Corals, although they look like plants, are actually animals, specifically marine invertebrates belonging to the phylum Cnidaria and the class Anthozoa. They share this classification with other organisms like anemones and jellyfish. Corals are classified as animals because they are multicellular and heterotrophic, meaning they must consume other organisms for energy rather than going through photosynthesis like plants do. The natural habitat of coral is the coral reef, where groups of coral grow together. Corals are colonial organisms, meaning that many individual coral animals, called polyps, live side by side physically and are connected to each other. These polyps make the reef from calcium and carbonate ions in seawater that they use to form the calcium carbonate or lime. They use to form carbonate or limestone, which creates their hard exoskeleton seen in this picture above of the individual coral polyps. As these skeletons grow, they make the foundation of the entire coral reef. Predators, prey, and food. The coral polyp has a mouth surrounded by tentacles for protection as well as for gathering food. The surface of each tentacle has thousands of stinging cells called cnidoblasts. Corals extend these tentacles to feed on zooplankton, bacterioplankton, or other food particles. A picture of zooplankton is seen on the top. Some of the predators of coral are also called corallophils that feed on coral polyps. Examples include the crown of thorn starfish, druvella snails, and coralophilia snails. Some uniquely evolved traits of coral. One is that they have mutual xylem with zooxanthellae. Corals have symbiotic relationships with these single-celled algae that live in their tissues. This algae performs photosynthesis, providing the coral with energy, while the coral provides the algae with protection and nutrients. Another uniquely evolved trait of coral is colonial growth, as mentioned earlier, where each coral is made up of hundreds of thousands of genetically identical polyps that are physically connected. This enhances their survival because they can share nutrients as well as other resources. Um, um, Corals also have calcium carbonate skeletons, as mentioned earlier, that provide the foundation for their homes or coral reefs. Corals can also undergo asexual as well as sexual reproduction. This asexual reproduction involves budding, where a new polyp grows from an existing one, and fragmentation, where broken pieces form new colonies. The sexual reproduction of corals also has benefit as it provides genetic diversity, as it mixes the genes of both parents allowing their offspring to be better equipped to adapt to the changing environment. Environmental sensitivity is a less favorable evolved trait of coral, where corals are very responsive to changes in their environment, such as changes in temperature, ocean acidification, pollution, and sedimentation, which can eventually cause coral bleaching and death. The tree of life of coral goes from the domain Eukarya, the kingdom Animalia, to the phylum Cnidaria, the class Anthozoa, which includes other organisms like sea anemones and sea pens, as mentioned earlier. Corals are very important to the ecosystem and to humankind. To the ecosystem, they cover only 1% of the world's ocean, but they provide habitat for at least 25% of the world's marine life. They provide habitats for food. They provide habitat and food for fish and invertebrates. They also protect coastlines from erosion and storms, and they recycle nutrients and increase the biodiversity of the ocean. To humankind, coral is a source of food for many communities. Coral also supports fishing and tourism industries, and is also used in medical research to make new antibiotics, antivirals, and cancer treatments. Coral also provides a natural coastline protection, and it reduces damages from hurricanes and tsunamis. Here is a list of my sources, and thank you.